Hey there, welcome to Snap Flash. Namibia's president, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, has just delivered her very first address to the United Nations General Assembly. In a powerful speech, she called for urgent reforms in global governance, stronger climate action, and justice for oppressed peoples around the world. Here's the striking part. President Nandi-Ndaitwah warned that failing to resolve the Gaza crisis could become the moral failure that defines this era. She tied Namibia's own history of colonialism and genocide to the need for international solidarity, sending a bold message to world leaders. If you're new here, remember to subscribe to Snap Flash, like this video, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more updates from the UN General Assembly. Nandi-Ndaitwah opened her speech by honoring the UN's role in Namibia's independence, calling her country one of the UN's most successful decolonization stories.
The UN has continued to fulfill its founding mandate under very difficult circumstances. Therefore, the international community must honor the brave men and women who, under the blue flag, have been at the forefront in the securing of world peace. Namibia's journey to independence is one of the UN's most successful stories. It was through this very organization that our forebears tirelessly petitioned for the end of apartheid, colonial rule in Namibia, for freedom and independence of our country. At this point, I want to thank the UN family for having held a special session in remembrance of our founding president, Comrade Sam Safishuna Nujoma, when he passed on.
She also reflected on her own journey at the UN dating back to the 1970s, underscoring Namibia's commitment to multilateralism. Domestically, she outlined her government's agenda under the theme Unity and Diversity, Natural Resources Beneficiation, and Youth Empowerment for Sustainable Development.
Madam President, my personal journey with the United Nations begins in 1974. Where I have had the privilege to serve my country and Africa in various capacities within the halls of this distinguished global organ. Today, I am deeply honored and humbled to stand before you as the 5th President of the Republic of Namibia with a mandate to deliver services and to ensure justice of all inhabitants of our country. As a woman, I encourage every girl and woman by affirming that your voice matters, your vision is needed, as it will pave you a way to the helm of whatever institution you are serving. Madam President, Namibia's 8th administration is built on the strong foundation and legacy of our predecessors. Under the theme, Unity and Diversity, Natural Resources Beneficiation, and Youth Empowerment for Sustainable Development. That theme aims to shape and transform the Namibian economy through value addition and other economic activities. Hence, we have identified agriculture, sports, youth empowerment, education and training, creative industry, health services, land and housing as critical sectors supported by mining, energy, water, tourism, infrastructure development, transport, logistics, to sustain our economic development through our long-term development blueprint, Vision 2030. This vision is being implemented through a series of national development plans, NDPs. Recently, we launched the 6th NDP with its fundamental pillars clearly aligned to the global agenda, such as the SADC Regional Inductive Strategic Development Plan, the African Union Agenda 2063, and the UN Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. Some of our achievements include the launch and the operationalization of the National Youth Fund, which is to assist young entrepreneurs in their economic activities. In the area of education, we will abolish registration and tuition fees in all public institutions of higher learning and vocational training centers to ensure skill development. On energy, Namibia is diversifying her energy mix using all our natural resources. In addition, Namibia presented her energy compact at the African Energy Forum, thus enabling us to access concessional funding for national energy initiatives.
On climate change, she painted a stark picture of droughts and floods that are scorching lands and drying up rivers. She announced Namibia's bid to host the African regional hub of the Green Climate Fund and pushed for stronger implementation of the Namib Declaration on combating desertification.
Severe droughts, floods, and other climatics brought about by climate change cannot be overemphasized. Namibia calls for the implementation of the provision of the Namib Declaration on a strong United Nations Convention to combat desertification for a land degradation and neutral world.
When it came to global governance, her message was clear. Africa deserves permanent seats on the UN Security Council. She demanded the implementation of the Ezulwini Consensus and Sirte Declaration, describing Africa's exclusion as a historic injustice. Internationally, she condemned sanctions on Cuba, Zimbabwe, and Venezuela, and voiced strong support for Palestinians and the people of Western Sahara.
Madam President, we are meeting against a backdrop of profound global tension. The world is fractured by conflict, displacement, and economic instability, instabilities straining multilateral cooperation and a serious issue for us to reach consensus. A global liquidity crisis threatens to plunge millions of people into poverty and insecurity. For Namibia, those crises are real. They impact our communities, test the resilience of our ecosystem, thus need urgent attention. In this context, the Southern Africa Development Community is committed to promoting peace, security, and stability in the Eastern DRC. Namibia welcomes the ongoing efforts by the AU, SADC, and AC to align the Rwanda and Nairobi peace process and encourage the continued strengthening of political and security aspects of the challenges faced in our region. We further call upon UN Security Council and good office of the UN Secretary General to strengthen negotiation and peacekeeping initiatives towards resolutions of all conflict, including those in different parts of Africa. The impasse in the UN security over the question of Western Sahara is an injustice. More than 34 years after the adoption of the Resolution 690 of 1991, the time for the holding of the UN referendum on the right to self-determination for the people of Western Sahara is now. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the Ezulwini Consensus and the Sirte Declaration, which jointly constitute the common African position on the reform of the UN Security Council. We acknowledge the support from all interested groups for the common African position, which culminated in the recognition of Africa as a priority and a special case in the reform process, as reflected in the outcome documents of relevant United Nations process, including the pact for the future. We can no longer delay the urgent call to redress the historical injustice to Africa and address our call for equitable and balanced representation on the Security Council.
On gender equality, she highlighted that 57% of Namibia's cabinet is women and announced events marking the 25th anniversary of UN Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security. So here's the big question. Will the calls from African leaders like President Nandi-Ndaitwah finally push the UN toward real reform? Or will small nations continue to be sidelined in global decision-making? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell for more Snap Flash updates. In her closing words, President Nandi-Ndaitwah urged the world not to choose despair, but renewal, to restore hope and preserve human dignity. Her maiden address may have been her first, but it was certainly a statement of intent. Namibia wants its voice and Africa's voice heard loud and clear on the global stage. Thanks for watching Snap Flash. Keep questioning, stay informed.